Well, it's the start of January. New Year's has been done and all that, and it's hot. So there might be a bit of wind noise in the background because I've got the air conditioner running. So we're going to look at stuff that has crossed my desk. Well, it's already very early in and stuff's already crossing my desk, but that's mostly purchases because of stuff that arrived in 2019 or 2020, sorry. Wow, it's 2021 already. Jeez. Anyway, let's get started. We have some Spherol Ultratec 2, some marine lithium grease. We've got 2 packs of that. I go through it like it's coming out of fashion. We've got some .5 or .5.1 brake fluid, that's going to be handy. And some power steering fluid. Most of this will be used in a service very soon on the ambulance. Now, we've got another bag of stuff. Let's hold on a moment. Now I have a bag of stuff here that I've got to sort through. Now, if anybody's asking what I had for Christmas, check out the December donations and deliveries. That's got my Christmas stuff right at the end there. Now, what's in this big bag of stuff here that has arrived? We have 6-way fuse blocks. We've got trailer plug, a 7-pin round. 7-pin flat. We have a double cigarette lighter socket. Mounting, we've got an inline fuse holder, a big one, and for A&L fuses. We have a what's this? What size fuse is this one? A 250 amp A&L fuse. We've got an inline fuse holder, merit socket, a different style of merit socket. We've got a 7-pin round trailer socket as opposed to a plug. And we have a big hunk of cable here. This is a big power cable. It's double insulated stuff with lots of copper in it, and it's red and black. That's for DC stuff. That'll be 24 volt stuff. So yeah, there's quite a few things here. This is all ambulance project stuff as well. So we'll work on that at a later date. But yeah, so I guess there's more stuff that's going to show up. I've been keeping these fairly quick between segments because you guys seem to enjoy that, although these videos aren't terribly popular. So anyway, it's stuff I'm doing because I enjoy it. I'm not making any money out of this. So alright, let's move on and see what else shows up this month. Well, I'm in the field for this delivery. We had some fish oil show up, another tube of steel weld because I lost the first one, and a 7-pin flat trailer socket as opposed to a plug. That's important because I'm in the middle of filming a video about that one. So let's see what else shows up. Alright, a pile of new deliveries have arrived. We have ourselves a 275 amp battery isolator. I'm going to try and run 60 volts through this, so its max rated voltage is 48, so that'll be interesting. I'm going to use that as a solar panel isolator. So it might be that, yeah, I don't know how that's going to work, but we'll see how we go. It's the biggest one I could find. I've got a pile of 6mm high tensile nuts and bolts, and I found some baby bus bars, but that's all I could find locally. So we're going to work with that. And we've got an A&L fuse. Now, I had previously bought a smaller fuse, this little guy here, thinking it would fit in this fuse holder, but I thought it was too big. Then I realized these guys are actually designed to work with a fuse like that on the top. So yeah, we'll do that. That'll be our inline fuse holder for the main battery. Yeah, that's all we've got for the moment, but there'll be a bit more in the next clip. Alright, so I'm out in the field for this one. Had another delivery. A couple of jack stands have arrived. I'm going to use them pretty well immediately on this. But yeah, alright, let's see what else shows up. Alright, some more deliveries have arrived. We've got a 350 kilo 5 shelf unit purchased solely to make use of this slotted steel, because I can't buy slotted steel anywhere in town. This was on special, so we've got 3 bottles of this, which I'm going to use for pretty well everything. So there will be more, I'm sure. Let's keep going. Alright, some more deliveries have arrived, and it's a little noisy because I need air conditioning. So 224 volt festoon globes have arrived. These got here from China quicker than the ones from Sydney got here, so figure that one out. What did arrive from Sydney are these guys also. These are also LEDs. The ambulance I've got uses 24 volt H1 globes for the side lights. So the H1s get insanely hot and draw a lot of power, so I'll see if these guys are any better. I think we can probably fire up both of these off 24 volts off the lab supply, but I think I'm just going to chuck them in and see how they go. These have got 2 little chip on board modules on the side here, so it'll be interesting to see how well they work. Anyway, they're not going to be used as headlights as they're intended to. They're going to be used as side lighting, or searchlights they call them, on the 6-wheel drive ambulance. The same as all these guys, these are going to replace all the festoon globes that are everywhere, and I have enough spares to accommodate these blowing. Let's have a quick look at one of these up close. I have hand sanitizer everywhere, so I can't grip anything. And these appear to be just 12 chip on board LEDs in series. Hidden under the caps there are no components. It's just unregulated LEDs in a series string, so we'll see how well that goes. These were listed as 12/24 volt, and these are labeled as 24 volt, that's reassuring, and 12T, so obviously 12 LEDs in a series, and they're 36mm long, which is about what I needed. So yeah, I doubt these will work on 12 volts, given that this, I don't know what the forward bias voltage of those is, but I don't think we'd get 12 volts. It's going to have to be more than 1 volt. Anyway, so let's see what else shows up. Okay, so our first actual donation for a while, we have this little cheapy Chinese LED projector. I read about these, and I think they're only something like 640 by 480 resolution, or maybe even 320 by 240, I'm not sure. But I thought about getting one of these cheapy things just to put into my 6-wheel drive ambulance to project some kids shows to the other side. So we'll see if this works. Now, the donor didn't really know if this was the right remote or not. It appears to be the case, but I guess we'll find out when we actually do this. We might do an episode on this, or I might include it in the ambulance series. We'll find out. Anyway, this will be interesting to see how this works. It's 12 volt too, which is handy. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Right, some more stuff has arrived, including this handy dandy link cable. That will become obvious what that's for in another video, including this giant piece of slightly thin but giant heat shrink. I have a couple of these guys, which are handy. I like those. They're good. And my other bus bar showed up, missing with one screw loose apparently. Now, I've already used something else other than these, but they will come in handy eventually. We also have this guy here, the little LCD battery meter, with an included shunt, which is what that heat shrink's going to be. So this is our little shunt. Oh, that's a hefty looking shunt. Alright, yeah, that is going to go inside that heat shrink, and that is going to connect to that. So yeah, we will look at that. This is the little panel itself. Not quite sure how we're going to mount that, but we will come up with something. That will probably go in the ambulance as well. Then we can keep track of our batteries, which would be nice. Alright, now I think there's one other thing that's shown up today, so let's look at that. Alright, this has shown up, and it has a very springy cable, so we'll have to position it. This cable is like a solid hunk of fencing wire, so we might end up hacking that off and putting a good one on. This hasn't been stored really well, but it's a HMV little nipper with the on-off switch missing. But let's have a look in here and have a quick look and see if this is valve or transistor. It's got a transformer in there. I'm not seeing any valves, so it's probably transistor state. It does look transistor era. Yeah, although I'm not actually seeing any transistors in there, so that's interesting. It'll be fun to have a look at this and give it a bit of a clean up and see what happens. But the story behind this is that in getting hold of this, I have made friends with a bloke that has many valves and vintage radios and a lot of other bits and pieces that will be very handy in the future. So we'll see what happens with this at some point. Alright, we've had some more deliveries. A little one and a bigger one. This one will probably need scissors that my apprentice had borrowed. There we go. Chop this one open and see what these are. Or what this is. I'm not sure whether it's a single item or multiple. We will. What's this little sheet attached? I will check this before I check it out. Ah, okay. 3 orders are sent on the one. Oh, okay, so this is an order. Okay, these look like LED globes. And they're telling me to turn the power off before connecting them. Well, yes, you go bloody blind otherwise. Alright, let's have a look what we've got. This is just after all the other ones arrived. And I've just yesterday replaced all the globes, so... Oh, these look rather interesting. These are all different size globes. Alright. Right, so these guys all have little heat sinks and stuff on them. I'm not sure if these are going to be brighter than the ones I've just put in all through the vehicle, but these are all supposed to be 24 volt. I guess we can test a few, but I'll do them in a later video. And yeah, we'll see what else has showed up. Alright, so this next one's a bigger one. A bit bigger than usual. And based on its size, I can guess what this is going to be. Let's see if we can get this open first. Alright. Alright. Yep, this is exactly what I thought it would be. Let's take it out of the box. There's a box within a box. It's boxception. Okay. So these are the sealed lid type buckets. And there's a thingy here. I've had these before. And you've probably seen them before if you watch these things, which a lot of people don't. Long delivery videos are not as popular apparently. But I'm not doing this for popularity. Oh, I need to get this open. Oh, wow. New buckets. Give me a moment. Alright. I got the lid off. And what we have inside are Hunger Buster ration packs. 7 of. And some flameless ration heaters. Also 7 of. So what did we get this time? We got a beef casserole. Alright. My desk is clearly not big enough for this. We got a beef casserole. We got a chili con carne crossed out butter chicken. So I'm going to guess that's beef casserole. Butter chicken. What's this one? Hard to see. That's chicken Italiano. That's nice. These are all nice. Chili con carne. Mystery one. Spag bowl. And what do we got? Another one, I can't really tell what this one is. That's another spag bowl. and a chicken and veggie. Alright, I think we're going to be right for rations for a little while. Challenge now is getting them all back in the bucket to see if they go back from whence they came. They can try this in a particular method, being as it's a square bucket. It looks like they will all fit back in the bucket pretty easy. Alrighty, I'm sure more stuff will show up. Alright, we've had some more deliveries and donations show up. Just had a donation of a wagon wheel. These things seem to be much smaller than they were as a kid, but maybe I've just got much bigger. But anyway, that's my snack of a day. Now let's see what else we have. And yes, it's warm, so the air conditioner's on again. So we have a couple of these guys. I took one out of a packet to inspect. These are Nava branded Model 42 tail lights. So they've got reverse indicator and a tail combination light. I have two of those, and I got a good deal on them, and they were still about 120 or 130 bucks each. They're not cheap, but this will stop the perpetual problems with the indicators and the tail lights not working in the ambulance, I hope. But because the ambulance has traditional flusher cans, I've got a pair of 8 ohm LED load resistors. Now these are very expensive ceramic resistors. They cost me about 15 or 20 bucks each. An 8 ohm 21 watt resistor probably is going to cost me about 5 bucks if I buy it at the local electronics shop. But I got two of them because I was down at Repco. Now we got two of these guys too. Now we had to take the red and blue lights off the ambulance because they were not roadworthy, because we're not allowed to have red and blue lights on the front of a vehicle. So yeah, we were going to look at the there's a type called KL 2000s, KL 5000s. They look very much like the originals, but at nearly $500 a piece, we decided Nava was a better option. Now I wanted to get permanently fit ones, but all that was in stock locally were the mag base ones, and for record, they don't come with globes, and that's why they're 12 or 24 volt. You put the globe in to suit the voltage you're putting in there. But crucially, I can buy both red and blue filters for these. So if I fit these, I'll buy a couple of spare filters, and then when we're on parade with special permission, we can run the red and blue lights, and then put the orange ones back on once we're finished with that, and take it back to being roadworthy. So that gives us that option. Let's have a look at one out of the box. One of the biggest questions I couldn't answer with these was, are the mag base ones basically the permanently fitted ones just with a magnet? The answer is yes. There was a magnet under here, under a sticker, with a nylock bolt. Or nylock nut. I took the nylock nut off, the bolt fell out, I took it out, the magnet come off. Now the only difference here is they haven't bothered to drill out the molds where the screws would go, and that is not going to take very much at all to rectify that situation. So for about 20 bucks more, I've got basically the same thing with a lighter plug on here that doubles as a merit plug, and I've got both of them sockets, but these are going to get hardwired in anyway. But good quality Nava stuff. So yeah, we'll fit these, we'll find out what voltage the ambulance feeds to the duress lights, and then we'll put a pair of orange ones up there. Now, I don't know what else we've got coming. Oh, there is one other thing. One other thing is some what I think should be T9 LED globes, being that they're 9mm in the base. Let me have a look here. They are BA9S, that's what they say. Let's get the calipers and find out. Problem when you have an autistic apprentice who is smart, she has a need for high precision tools, and she does regularly borrow them. Let's see, are these 9mm? Oh, they are indeed 9mm. They might actually fit. I don't think I looked at the voltage of these, but these should run on 24 volt. I don't know, they just say there's 5 SMDs. I might feed them 24 volts and see if they blow up. Let's do that whilst we're kind of doing something else. We'll swing around here, we'll change our camera angle down a bit, We've got 12 volts going here. I assume that ground is going to be that bit. See if I can slot that in here. Oh, that could be interesting. Well, I'll hold it on my thumb. Easier said than done. Let's just hold this on here. So 12 volts a yes. Let's hook up 24. Right, we've got 26. Let's wind that down a little bit. 24 volts. See what happens here. Alright, they seem to be working alright at 24 volts. Oh, it's because I'm still plugged into the 12 volt side. Plug into 24 volts. Now let's see if they go pop. Or burn my fingers. Well, whoa, okay, yep, she started burning out. Well, we're going to sacrifice one. Let's do it properly, hey? Let's see how we go here. Let's give it a run and see what happens. Yeah, she's definitely smoking. Yeah. Yeah, I can smell a hot silicon, so... Alright, so, answer that question. No, they're not 24 volt, despite being advertised as such. But I'm sure I can whack a resistor in there and fix that. We'll play with that later. Anyway, let's see what else shows up. Alright, so summer hasn't gone away yet, and we've still got some deliveries. Let's have a look. We've got this guy, and we've got this one. And I've also had a H1 halogen 24 volt. We've had two of them, some nuts and bolts. I think that's mostly everything that showed up. Yep, I think that's it. Let's open this guy here. Let's get my handy dandy bi-bladed cutting device and see what this is. This has the feel of something from China, but I'm pretty sure all my Chinese stuff had shown up. And oh wow, okay. So what is this? Oh, haha, that's my LED clock kit. That's a DIY clock kit. That's going to go in the Land Rover with big 7-segment displays, and comes with an acrylic case that I could have probably laser cut myself. But anyway, that's cool. Alright, now this might be one of two that got sent to me, one of which hasn't shown up. I will see what this is. Aha! That is what I thought it is. That's from RMK Leatherworks in Queensland, in Yandina. So these guys have actually been really good to me. So certainly, by all means, if you need leather stuff, do that. This is designed to take a Leatherman and also the tool driver, the driver bit, and also the extra sockets and bits and pieces that go with it. I've got a Leatherman rebar, but I plan to put a couple of other things in this slot. But that should sit nice and flush on my belt and not obtrusive like the current one that I've got. So that's good. And actually it might work well if I put it in this way, then I can grab those hooks. So I think over time that will wear in nicely. That'll be good. Nice bit of custom leather. It's good stuff. Alright, let's get on with it. Alright, another delivery has arrived, and this one is a heavy one. And rather than blank everything out, I'm just going to open it from the bottom. And see, yeah, there's no shipping labels there. Somebody a little while ago did some crazy stuff with shipping labels and yeah, tracked down my number and stuff and tried to take my Telstra account. So yeah, lesson learnt. But let's see what's in this box. Judging by the weight of it, I'm fairly confident I know what this will be. And yes, it is what I thought it is. It's an 8-ton combination pintle tow ball hitch. We call them a pintle ball hitch. Good for 8 tons, but the tow ball's rated for 3.5 tons. Some big high tensile bolts. This one's going to replace the ambulance. I've already got one of these on the 4x4. So, let's see what else shows up. some more deliveries have arrived. Stopped in at my local J-Car shop and picked up one of these guys for something like 30 bucks or a smidgen less. Expensive little critters, but if it really does have 300 lumens, it'll be worth it. I got one of these guys, which is going into a clock kit that I built the other day. The clock kit being here. I took a guess as to what size battery that should be. I know it's 3 volts because the little real-time clock module takes 3 volts to keep it alive. So I'll see if that's the correct one. What else did we get? Went to a previous place of employment where I used to work and got an ABL 001 because I'm lazy. For those of you who aren't fluent with GME part numbers like I am, this is a pre-wired kit. So you get a nice little antenna base here. You get a UHF connector with an FME terminated to the back, so you can unscrew that adapter, poke it through a firewall hole. That's going to be handy. To go with that, I also got a nice little UHF antenna, which is an A4018. It's just a little fiberglass, 4.5. This is 6.6 dB. So a little bit flat, a little bit flatter radiation pattern, but certainly good for vehicle to vehicle. Should do the job. So I'm sure there'll be more stuff to show up soon. And a quick side note, I was perfectly guessing with the battery. Well, my guess was perfect. Anyway, it fits. Let's move on. Alright, a couple more deliveries have arrived. I have a Ryco Z333 filter. It's a bypass filter for my 6x6 Land Rover. And a Z155X, that's the main oil filter. Alright, so these two are going to be good for oil changes. Ooh, and it's like 10:30 at night here, so alright, let's go and see what else we can do. Alright, we're in the field for this delivery. It's more of a pickup. A 12 volt shower set, more bag of rags, a funnel slash hat, degreaser, and a giant drain pan. I think we're doing oil changes soon. So that shower is going to be interesting. I'm going to open that shortly after this clip. Alright, we have some more deliveries and donations arrived. Delivery, we have a flat sheet. Not for use on a bed, but as an improvised projector screen. We'll see how this goes. Also to go with that, there are some magnets. These are neodymium rare earth magnets from Spotlight, and they are sticking each other together, which is what we want them to do. Attached to that was a micro B cable. Believe it or not, I have actually run short on micro USB cables, even after the bag of 100 that Tinkerman Mick gave me. If you want to know about Tinkerman Mick, go back to my channel home and you'll find a link to him there. This is a donation, the first for quite a while. So we've got a few things here. We have calendar planner wallpaper for Windows. Oh, wow, I actually remember using this. Oh wow. Commodore, that's actually a Commodore floppy. In 1992. I actually have an Amiga that might actually run that. That means it'll probably be an 880K floppy. Ethernet drivers for an NE12A. That was 10 base T era, I think. Anyway, on this side we've got MS-DOS 5. That's the disk 1 for setup, but disk 2 the DOS systems, and disk 3. Okay, that's the whole set, and they're originals on Osborne Computers Australia. Wow, so they were actually MS-DOS discs issued in Australia. That's okay, that's collector's edition. What else have we got? MS-DOS CD-ROM drivers with CD-ROM extensions with device drivers. That is handy. That is really handy. I may at some point set up a DOS machine again. Don't know, but these will be handy. So we'll put them back in the CD case. We'll find a suitable home for them in the very near future. I'll probably back these up and disk image them, so they will be handy. Alright, let's see what else we get. Alright, we're outside for this delivery. We have a few things here. We have a pop-up privacy ensuite. It's going to be a shower tent for us. Got a big bunch of oil, and I got the wrong grade of oil for that one, but I'll take that back and swap it out. That should have been 80W90 oil, and it's 85-140. I wasn't looking at what I picked up. Anyway, 80W90, we're going to top up some differentials. We're also going to do it with a Tom Thumb pump. We're going to do some gearbox oil and add some smooth shift additive. Gloves, because I'm sick of oily hands. I have some suspension bushes, which I just dropped in the bull bar. Some body clips and another drain pan, because the other one fell off and broke. Alright. Spring has sprung and summer has hit. It's hot as hell, and I've got the air conditioner running, so you guys are going to have to deal with it. Anyway, we've had some new stuff arrive. We have a Merit plug, and JCar part number PP2090. Handy considering the ambulance has Merit plugs. We have one of these guys, which is, what's this one? It's a PP2120. It's a PowerTech 3-way cigarette lighter with USB power. It's got two 2.4 amp and two 1 amp. I'm guessing they've run two of the standard modules on these double points here. We've got 3 sockets. This should simplify the wiring. I'm going to chop this crazy thing off, and I'm going to put that Merit plug on there. Right. What else have we got? We have here, this one I'm probably going to open on camera. We have ourselves a GME 2-watt, and that's a TX677. Sold plenty of these when I worked for a comms company. Now I love my little Baofeng dual band units, but when we're doing vehicle to vehicle, or in my case it's almost ship to ship stuff, we really want clear audio and communication. And the Baofengs, every time I get a new handset for them, I have to modify it for the audio to be clear. And my wife already has an accent being Irish American, so we have trouble enough communicating as is. So I'm thinking that this might be a better job. I have used these before, and they usually got wonderful clear audio if I can get them out of the box. You would think I would have learnt how to do this by now, having opened many of these for customers. So we have some bonus cardboard, some literature, I think that's the charger, and somehow we need to get this off the front panel. I think like that. Is our battery charged from factory? It is, and we're on channel 40. This is an 80 channel job, which is good, and these are nice. They got a good bit of volume, but crucially, what I like about these guys is it tells you A, where the mic is, and B, that the system beep doesn't go up and down in volume with the speaker, so you can get that balance right. We do have the ability to charge directly on the unit, as well as a charging base. That's a micro B. I recall actually talking to the GME rep some years ago and going, look, it would be really great if you started using micro USB on these units. No, it might have been the ICOM rep. I don't know, I think I told both GME and the ICOM, but anyway, these guys all come with micro USB charging leads now, which is great. I'm never going to be short of a charger on the thing. However, I think they do come with a charging base as well. What have we got here? No, we've got a micro B lead, and we've got a cheap little wall plug, which is GME branded at least. That's a little more reassuring. Yeah, 5-volt 1 amp. But anyway, that's really handy. I don't have to worry about losing my charger on these things. They have a little lithium ion battery. That's the clip to remove that guy. They do come off. Crap, I'm actually realizing how long it's been since I've changed a battery in one of these things. Yeah, I think we have to do that and push that off, and then we can slide that battery down after we pull a lock across. But where are they hiding the lock? This is a slightly different model. Anyway, the battery does slide off. It's like a custom-made lithium battery. There we go. I recall now. I'd forgotten that bit. Yeah, so not too bad. And I can drop them. They're a very solid battery, by the way. Very nice. Easy to test too, with 2 pins I can just, or 2 pads there, I can just hook my multimeter up. If I suspect anything wrong, it also means you can jump start the battery because that is connected directly to the cell. So yeah, nifty little bit of gear. I'm going to be happy with it. Alright, let's see what else we get. Alright, so the air conditioning is still running and we have another delivery has arrived. This one doesn't quite fit on the bench. Let's swing our camera around and have a look. Little GME radio in the way there. See what this is. So this is a 7-piece grease gun kit. We'll actually go mobile for this because it's big and bulky. We have a bunch of various different little things. We've got grease needles. We have like a sideways fitting for grease nipples. We've got a rubber tipped one. We've got an extension. We've got this little guy, which I presume just sits right on the top of the grease nipple, and we can force some grease in the really tight spots. Got a right angle jobby. That actually would have been really handy yesterday. And these guys all pretty well just snap onto the existing fittings, so I can use them on the end of the flexible hose that I do have. And this guy is a little, you pull down on this ring and you can twist it all around. So yeah, you can end up with some funky angles with that one as well. So this will be handy. This is a super cheap auto job. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Wonder what else is going to show up. Alright, so it's post Australia Day and we have some more deliveries to unbox. I would say it'd be donations, but there aren't many of those at the moment. So we're just doing deliveries. Let's have a look at what we have here. This looks like a Land Rover part. Right, this is an air filter cover for the LT95, or no, not the LT95, the Isuzu 4BD1 engines and the 4BD1T, which is the T for turbo. The one in the 6-wheel drive ambulance fell off, rattled along the steering column, got wedged under the battery next to the steering column and locked up the steering. So I figured it was time for a new one. One with a captive nut that actually stays in there and isn't stripped out. So that will be good. Let's see what else we have. This one's a heavy one. Okay, we will change our angle for this. Sorry about the background noise. The air conditioner's running again because, you know, Australia. It's hot. What do we got in here? This is wrapped unusually. So I have to open it unusually. What have we got? That's a itemization of what's in there with my address on it. We probably don't want to put that public, because the last time somebody got a wind of my phone number, they tried sending me spam messages that they're taking over my account. Which of course wasn't true, but they were going to try and get me to divulge personal information, and they actually nearly succeeded. Alright, this is a big long that's a wheel brace. A 27mm wheel brace for the Land Rover, so I better not change wheel nut sizes. That will be good. That's for both Land Rovers. I've already got one, so that will go in the ambulance. What else do we have in here? We have a white box and another white box by the looks. Let's see if we can confirm its whiteness. Yes, it is a white box. Okay, these appear to be bare marked parts. This is a wash wipe switcher, because the one in the ambulance is knackered. So let's have a look at what is in this box. So, I'm surprised I can still get these things new. Oh, a fresh rubber boot. I've never seen that before. Alright, so, oh, and it has 3 clicks. Alright, so the existing one in the ambulance only has 2 clicks, and one of them bounces back. So that will be nice. And it has a plug. I'm hoping the other one hasn't succumbed to the ghost of Lucas, but we'll see. Alright, and it's been a long time since I've seen switch bodies made out of cast zinc. They're all plastic these days. Let's open this guy, which is what? Combination switch. It must be for the other side of the column. These box thingies sound good, but they're not. Okay. Open that one. Oh, geez. Okay, I've got the whole frame. This is the combination switch. Also with a plug that looks decidedly Lucas-esque. Alright, and this has got the rotary piece in here to return the system once your blinkers are on. So if you turn back, that's the piece that always breaks, which is also broken in the house. So you know when you're turning corners and then you want to go, I'm going to turn back again, turns the indicators off for you. That feature is not a feature in the ambulance. It is in my 4x4. So now I know I can get these assemblies, I'll get another one. It also has the horn button, which is on the end of that, which is probably the most useless place for a horn button. It also has your headlights and your flash switch. That's very nice. There's going to be a few videos on replacing that, I'm sure. Alright, let's see what else has showed up. Alright, I'm not sure if the airflow is hitting the camera here. I'll turn it down a little bit. Alright, let's see what else is here. This humongous box, which the size of it gives me an inkling as to what it might be. This one's going to be a knife job, because that's not a knife. Really, that's not a knife. Now, there's a few people itching for me to say that line. Get into this. Right, this is like crazy heat shrunk stuff. Give me a couple of minutes off camera. Camera angle had to change a bit. Bubble wrap off. This is a Corsair computer case. Corsair Carbide Series 100R, the cheap model. Because I'm doing a computer upgrade for my senior advisor, aka mother, and it had to come in at around about $1,000. So I spent my money where it counts, not on the case. Let's get this open. Alright, we have the big black monolith, we'll call it, unwrapped. This one seems to have front panel bays. Unlike the last one I bought that has a grill and nothing else, and that needs cleaning. So yeah, we can put 5.5-inch bay stuff in here, which is really nice because we're going to need it. We have two USB 3s on the front, headphone and microphone port, power and a restart button. That's new. Alright, but all the essentials. It's only two 5.5-inch bays, but that'll be good. There's some legacy stuff that we need to put in the other one. I'll have a quick look inside and then we'll move on to the parts. Yeah, looking inside here, we've got a couple of bays. What do we got here? Wow, they even punched the holes in the box. So these are hard drive brackets for 3.5-inch drives. 3.5-inch. I'm guessing, there's screw holes for the 2.5-inch on the bottom, that's alright. So there's 4 of those brackets. Got a bunch of front panel connectors. There is a 220mm fans in here. They look like they're reasonable quality. They are Corsair brand, I think. Alright, given that it's a Corsair case. What's this? The obligatory screw it up kit. Yep. And some little mini zip ties and some standoffs for the motherboard. Standoffs are already pre-fitted, and I note an interesting feature in here. They have most of the female standoffs around here. One here and one here and all over the place. This one's a male standoff. I think that might be like a locator pin or something. I'm not sure. There's a big cutout at the back here, obviously for the heatsink die. That's very nice. Alright, so, and quick release clips on the 5.25-inch bays. We have 4 5.25-inch bays, or 3.5-inch bays. Yes, 3.5-inch bays, 4 of them in there. That'll be certainly enough, considering we're going to be running an M.2 SSD in here. Probably an X571. So, yeah. Anyway, that's about it for a case. Everybody's seen it, so let's move on to the next delivery. Alright, we have another delivery. Another big black plastic wrapped thing. I hope somebody's not sending me like a dead animal in the post, or somebody's been to sendshit.com or something. But we'll see what this is. Although, tell a lie, I am actually fairly confident I know what's in this. If I can get into it. because it's only one of my suppliers that puts black garbage bags around things and shrink wraps them on with a heat gun. That is a computer parts supplier, because somehow they don't understand static control and how plastic like this creates static, which is why I have a foil strip along the edge of my bench so that I don't destroy things when I open them. And get a load of this packing, guys. WTF. Big time. Right, we'll get into this in a minute and show you the contents. Let's change our camera angle a bit here. Alright, now, hopefully this doesn't fall over. We have stupid air packet thingies. Better than packing peanuts, at least. Alright. This is the fun of building computers for family members. You get to open all the stuff and you don't have to worry about where you're putting it. Alright, the bit most of you will be anxious about is what CPU am I putting in here? I went with an AMD Ryzen 5. I went with a Ryzen 5 2600X. That was the best balance between performance and price I could get. Anything really a step lower than this lost too much, and a step above this was a big price step up. So it was a bit of a challenge, but the Ryzen 5 is what we ended up with. I've got a Ryzen 9 3950X in that, but we didn't have $4,000 to spend on a machine. That CPU was almost the entire budget of this computer. The power supply, I took a bit of a risk on a Co-Link. There's quite a few reviews that say these things seem to stack up to what they're required. This is the KLC 600, the 600 watt one, based on my 3950X combination, which has got some of the similar hardware. It only pulls, like at the moment, my entire desk is pulling 264 watts, and that includes that computer. So here's where I spent probably the bulk of the money, where it counts, because there's going to be a bit of Photoshop and a lot of stuff like that. So this is specifically one that's supported by Adobe. This is a GeForce GTX 1660 Ventus SX. That's the 6 gig, and it has the acronym, the OC edition. I'm not sure what that is all about, but I've got a similar card, and it performs quite well. I have been able to test it in the exact conditions that we needed it to, so that's what we're doing with that. Now, I ended up with a gigabyte board, the UD Ultra Durable, the X570 UD. So this supports the Ryzen 5000 series. It also supports the SSD we've got, which is the 500 gig one of what I'm using. This is the MP600. This is the 512 gig. I have the 1 terabyte one. These are bloody quick little SSDs, I'll tell you that now. The box claims are not all that overstated. Now I went with RAM. Now we're going to upgrade the RAM at a later date. I got a 16 gig set of RAM, probably not enough for what we really want to be doing in the future. However, crucially, this fell victim to the cost because I wanted DDR4 3200. The previous machine's got 2400 in it, and it lags a little bit in the RAM department. So tortoise versus hare thing, I wanted it light and fast instead of slow and bulky. So yeah, we can do a lot of work in 16 gig of RAM. I find functionally I've got 64 gig in my main machine, and functionally I've never really used over 16 gig doing anything crazy, except for trying to vectorize a high resolution image of the moon. That used a lot. Oh, and I got a HDMI port adapter to fit all sorts of different things because we don't know what monitor we're using with it. I think she's going to use 2 monitors, but we can get these things locally. Right, so I'm going to open a couple of these things and answer a few questions that I had when I was buying them. Now, short of going through everything, I'm just going to go through the main thing here. This is the Ryzen 5, and I'm going to de-virginize this on video. Now, I couldn't find anywhere where it stated if this came with a cooler or not. Generally with the Ryzen chips, the stock coolers are pretty good, and I see a fan in there. So I think yes, there's the chip. Oh, there's the fan. So yes, it does come with a fan, and generally Ryzen pre-apply thermal paste. So let's have a quick look here. Do we have pre-applied thermal paste? We do. Not in the fancy dots that were on the other one I had, but still good enough. Alright, so that answers that question. So, the Ryzen 5, it's a Ryzen 5 2600X, does come with a cooler. And I'm hoping that stock cooler is like the rest of them and reasonably adequate, because we didn't have budget to actually buy one. I'd spent pretty much the best of $1,000. In fact, actually, I ended up at about $1,500 for all of this. So we were kind of pushing our budget just a tiny bit here. I went over budget, and that ended up being my own cost. But doesn't matter. It's family, so you look after your family, I guess. Although I have met some people that have family that... Anyway, we won't go down that path. Alright. Let's move on to the next delivery, if there are any more left this month. So, we've had the last probably delivery of this month. What's our day today? We're looking at... Well, I've got 2 days left in the month, but I don't anticipate anything else is going to show up. Which means I'm going to get this video edited and out the door. However, we have had a couple of last things show up, if I can get them open. These are deceptively hard to find locally. These are DisplayPort to DVI connectors. So they look like DVI-D, but they should fit into DVI-B, which is what's on the monitor. So these should do the job. I've got 2 of them, and they're Astrotech brand. And they come with a little thingy in here. Come with guarantees, cannot be excluded under the Australian consumer law. You're entitled to replace. Oh, okay, that's just telling you that you've got a. They're just telling you what the Australian consumer law is. That's all that is. Okay, so I think we're done. I hope it's been interesting. I know I haven't had a lot of donations lately, but not much I can be helped with that. And COVID has kind of, the restrictions for that has kind of slowed down the donations a bit. But I'm working on a lot of other projects, and you guys don't seem to mind that I'm showing the deliveries that show up as well as just donations. So, yeah. Anyway, I'll see you all next month, and hope this was fun for you, and I'll see you in the next video.